Your witches are clearly misguided because they don't know what's a Jedi and what's not. And now you're hedging your bets on Ahsoka being as unpredictable and violent and dangerous as Anakin.
It was like episode 3, I think we first saw him, and that was like the immediate response. Like he's like, "There's nothing out there," ha ha ha. And then she did say, Hera said to him, "Oh yeah." And did you fight in the Clone Wars? Did you fight at all?
I didn't care about that because that was just their way of like, oh, the Empire is nothing. It was just a splinter cell basically, and he's doing nothing.
I mean,
Yep.
I kind of feel like in elements like this, that and sacrifices kind of go hand in hand. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
It's the only thing that makes sense why he would have the pull that he does.
Well, what this does
Say
in my mind
body.
is what's going to happen. This is just my theory of what's going to happen next episode. They still need that time for everything to charge up, quote unquote. And for it to get ready. Ahsoka is now on her way in her ship back to his ship.
It's just, well, because Legos were originally built or created so you could build something with your imagination. Now it's a great skill to teach kids how to follow directions. Great. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Black and White Reviews. I'm Lee,
And I'm Chuck.
And I am Will.
and today we're going to talk about the seven is the key number here. Seven little chipmunks. Seven flavors. Seven little chipmunks twirling on a branch, eating lots of sunflowers on my old uncle's ranch.
Okay.
You know that old children's tale from the sea?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Uh-huh.
I guess you guys haven't watched me myself, or something about Mary in a long time. Anyway, we're talking about episode 7 of Ahsoka. We'll say season 1 of Ahsoka. 'Cause I don't know where they're going here. There's a lot of speculation that they're like pushing for like an Heir to the Empire movie that's going to stray away from the Legends timeline stuff and kind of go in a Filoni verse. It's a Filoni verse.
So
that's where we're at.
I don't see that. And I do know we had talked that Will wants to go first. And I just want to say one thing before Will goes first, because I have an idea as to we know whether Will likes or doesn't like this episode as of this point.
Thank you.
But I think I have one big idea as to why you don't, and I think his name rhymes with C-3PO. I could be wrong.
It wasn't. It's so stupid. It's so stupid that he shows up here for absolutely no reason, and you get the Leia drop.
It was their way of making Leia relevant without having to show her.
Why do you need to make Leia relevant?
Because
For what
she exists
reason?
She exists in this new republic.
She is the only reason why she is relevant in this episode is to get what's her name off the chopping block.
She's
That's the only reason why. That's the only reason why. She has to find a way off the chopping block. There's no other like way in sight for her to like get away with what she did with like disobeying direct orders. Oh, Leia, of course. And C-3PO's here to save the day, and now we're just gonna put that entire storyline to bed. It doesn't matter. It never mattered it's so stupid. It's so stupid. And so I've never seen a more transparent villain than this guy who's sitting on the council. Like, no, she needs to be held accountable, and we can't just do all this. And what's the problem? And blah, 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 blah. Like, he's so obviously like a Thrawn crony. It's laughable, and how nobody else.
It was like episode 3, I think we first saw him, and that was like the immediate response. Like he's like, "There's nothing out there," ha ha ha. And then she did say, Hera said to him, "Oh yeah." And did you fight in the Clone Wars? Did you fight at all? Oh yeah, right. You didn't see any battle. What'd you do? Just sit around and see who came out on top?
In that episode, he came off as a stupid politician trying to tell a soldier how to do their job. This came off as a flat-out bought and paid for crony.
I love her line in the middle of it too. Is I don't disagree with my orders. I disagreed. No, I didn't disagree with my orders. I disobeyed you.
Disobeyed you. Yep.
Okay, sure. Yes. No problems at all. And exactly what I thought was going to happen at the end of this episode, or what I thought was going to happen eventually, happened. How you get the second meeting between I'm horrible with these names because I just don't care enough. These two, Sabine, is that her name? And the other and the other dark side chick, how they had their second meeting, and she did a little bit better in this fight despite having absolutely no training in trying to get herself prepared for this fight. It was so stupid. It was so dumb.
It was an equal fight because what's his name was there to use the Force, and she was there to use her skills.
Yeah, but when it was
the Force, the Force is with him.
When the two
They
of them
became one.
When the two of them were like a one-on-one, it was like an even fight, and it shouldn't have been at all. Like, she was easily handled their first meeting. It was not even a close contest. And now all of a sudden, because she spent some time toying around with Ahsoka for like 10 minutes, she's good, and she didn't make a cup move. Now all of a sudden she can like stand her own. No, I'm sorry. I know about really hard on things like that. It was so dumb. It was so stupid. So, yeah. And then you end on a cliffhanger of what exactly is what's his name gonna do? And he leaves when I have to figure out what his name is. Oh my god. Balin?
Thrawn?
Balin?
Oh, Balin. The other Sith Lord guy.
Yeah, the other Sith guy.
The Grey
Sith guy.
Walker.
Like I said, we end on a cliffhanger with Balin, who's like, where's he going? What's he doing? I wonder what. Okay.
No one knows.
No one knows.
Yeah, that's still really up in the air.
Well,
Sure
I have
it
my
is.
theories.
Sure,
I have my...
sure it is. It's so up in the air. We're on a planet with a whole bunch of dark magic that's surrounded by a whole bunch of mythos, and we really have to spend a whole lot of time figuring out where he's going and what he's gonna do. Come on. Come on. And you get a line drop in this episode too about the Emperor's dead. Oh, so they say. That's what they say.
No, that's what they say. That is the buzz line of the week.
That's what they say.
Yeah, that's what they say.
I said last week that they're dropping a whole bunch of dialogue that's going to turn into a MacGuffin, and they're laying it on so thick, and I'm so sick of it. I am so tired of it. It is so stupid.
Yep. All because of one episode.
No.
Because they brought Anakin back.
No.
So
that's what they say is just them slapping the sequels in the face again, because his return suddenly in Rise of Skywalker was just that, so sudden it made no sense. There was nothing about the Emperor for 2 whole movies and anything else that came out in between, and then suddenly it's like the dead speak. Oh yeah, the Emperor's alive, by the way. Wait, what? Okay, so that's what they're slapping at right now. They're basically poking fun at how bad the sequel trilogy was, because
that's how you took it
lined up with each other. Yes,
that's how you
took it. As they were set. I took it as if they're setting up for the sequel trilogy.
I took it as they're setting up for the Emperor to be alive.
Right, which makes sense for now the sequel.
The
trilogy.
Emperor, okay,
they're making the sequel. They're actually making the sequel trilogy relevant with this episode.
I don't think they're gonna go clone with it. I think the Emperor is gonna be like full on alive, full on.
They try to make it all about clones in another movie. Yeah, no, that's what they say. Yeah, that's what they say.
The Emperor is dead. That's what they say. That leaves the door open
for everything.
That leaves the door open by a wide margin.
This show is trying as hard as they can to just make up for how bad the sequel trilogy was.
By bringing everybody, by making everybody undead, by bringing people back to life, by dropping lines that the Jedi and the Dark Witches or whatever the hell they are, whatever they are, the death and reincarnate or what was his line? Death and whatever
resurrections.
Else. Resurrections is a common trick of the Jedi. Come on,
yeah.
this entire show is just like. What's dead may never die. Like, come on.
Right. This episode is actually setting up a pathway for Rise of Skywalker to be possible.
I know. They're trying to make up for it. Now, I'm not saying that they're retconning. I'm saying that they're trying to make up for it and say, oh, let's give you some type of explanation. So it's like, oh, yeah, this happened before it. So there was some idea.
The
that this was gonna
possibility for
happen.
the Emperor
There-
being alive is not a reference to the sequel trilogy. The sequel trilogy, he was a clone. This is a reference to like he might be alive. He might be out there somewhere.
But that's
He survived the fall, and like come on, like.
But that's where Rise of Skywalker would be shifted. Is he wouldn't be a clone. He would be alive.
right.
That's
Which
a change.
That's stupid.
It is
Yeah.
stupid. It is stupid. So out of everything
It's
that I just
ridiculous.
mentioned, 3PO is the least of my disdain for this episode. Like 3PO's
it's
on the
funny
last on the
'cause-
list.
It's funny because I was talking with I did what I shouldn't have done, and I had a conversation with Lee before we talked about this. I said, I'm willing to bet that Will did not like this episode, and he's like, "Really?" And I said, "Yeah, because one reason." I said C-3PO and Princess Leia.
It's
In this case, Senator Leia, and I was like, "No." So here's. Do you mind if I go, or are you still going?
No, go ahead. I'm done.
All right.
I've got
So
it
I
all
was-
out.
I was 50-50 with this episode.
Of course.
And
you
here's the
are.
reason. I was 50-50. There was things I liked about it, and there was things I did not like about it. I did not like the C-3PO part. I was not a fan of that. You don't need to bring him into every single thing that Star Wars does. I wasn't a fan of them bringing Mandalorian into this episode. I did not care for him bringing in what happened with, what was his name? Gideon?
Moff Gideon.
Moff
Yeah.
Gideon?
A Mandalore.
I didn't care about that because that was just their way of like, oh, the Empire is nothing. It was just a splinter cell basically, and he's doing nothing.
Of course.
And then the fight with her, with her and Ezra against the other girl, Shin or whatever her name was.
Yeah.
I thought his part was pretty cool. I thought the rest of it was like I noped out. I was like, to your point, Will, I was like, she's not gonna win. I mean, she is going to win because she's the good guy.
yes.
But outside of that, she's not going to win. I thought Ezra fighting with solely the Force was a cool special effect that they did. I thought that was really cool. Because they only showed it 2 or 3 times.
Fine.
Outside of that, his line of "the Force is my weapon."
Yeah, the Force is my ally.
Eh,
Yeah.
eh.
There's a few things here that are iffy about a lot of it.
But here's the thing too: is I disagree with Lee on the aspect that they're set in place for a movie. I think that next episode, Thrawn is done.
I am kind of on board with you. I look at him as kind of a joke right now. He's hedging his bets that Ahsoka might be as unpredictable as Anakin.
Right.
What?
Well, he set it up.
What leader does that?
Right. Well, here's the reason why I say this too. Is he's showing what's her name, the mother, whatever her name
Great
is,
Mother.
The witch.
Great Mother, the witch.
Yeah.
He's showing her that, oh well, all this is happening. Our ship is basically charging up so you can jump to light speed and make it. You see everything. You see that.
No. They're filling cargo, which they don't explain what's in those. I'm wondering if they're Sparty cylinders.
I'm wondering if they're bodies because they were looking off a lot like coffins.
Yeah, well, Sparty cylinders are what they use to build clones, which would be
Okay.
the whole part of Heir to the Empire
So a body.
type thing. Yeah, some type of body
You could have
capsule.
just said body.
Yeah.
You don't have to.
Doesn't mean it's a
Cylinder.
body. It could just be
Well-
a Sparty cylinder.
Well, what this does
Let's
in
say
my mind is
body.
what's going to happen. This is just my theory of what's going to happen next episode. They still need that time for everything to charge up, quote unquote, and for it to get
Reloaded.
ready. Ahsoka is now on her way in her ship back to his ship.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be a big fight between her and everybody else. It's going to be all the good guys versus all the bad guys. They're going to win. Their ship is going to be ready to go. She's going to dock her ship on the Star Destroyer, and bing, bang, boom. That's her trip back to the galaxy that they came from. He's now out of the picture. Thrawn came in episode 4. He's leaving in episode 8. And I'm willing to bet that outside of the line of resurrections and deaths by witches and Jedi. Outside of that, this is the end of Thrawn.
That would be malpractice if if they just brought him in for 2 or 3 episodes and then we're done, goodbye.
Well, dude, they did the same thing with Cad Bane. They brought him in and then just killed him, and I was
Yeah,
like,
but how
wait,
big of a part does Cad Bane play in like the entirety of Star Wars compared to Thrawn? I know I've heard more about Thrawn than any other character that you've mentioned.
So Cad Bane is in like 50, if not more, percent of Clone Wars.
Okay.
Thrawn is in. I'd say. I mean, Rebels is less. It's only 4 seasons, and some of them are shorter. Thrawn's in maybe 70% of that, if I
Okay.
recall. But then Thrawn had like that trilogy that came out in the 90s, and it was only later on when Timothy Zahn, who wrote the Thrawn trilogy, started writing Thrawn books that were now considered canon to line up with everything, with the whole new life of like Luke
Right.
and Leia and Han and everything, because they didn't have the same kids and this
Right.
didn't happen. Mara Jade didn't exist. So I don't know. I feel like it would be a huge slap in the face to bring Thrawn in and not finally give us like, okay, let's give us a real Thrawn here. Let's see live action a real Thrawn, because I thought he was, after reading the books, I thought he was super lame in Rebels, and people are just pooping all over him in this show because they're like, he's fat. It's like, dude's been there forever, and he's like 70. Give
Doesn't
him a
matter
break.
if he's been there forever. I really
No,
don't care. I don't personally care
he's
about his weight. I just think he's kind of an idiot.
well,
Okay,
but
your
that's
witches
the other
clearly
thing, too.
your witches are clearly misguided because they don't know what's a Jedi and what's not. And now you're hedging your bets on Ahsoka being as unpredictable and violent and dangerous as Anakin, and that's gonna be your upswing. Like these are not smart decisions that a strategic commander would make. I'm sorry,
Right,
they're
but
not.
the thing about Thrawn and what made it really really great in the books is that you get a lot of inner dialogue and everything. That's the good thing about books, is you get a lot more in a book than you get in a show, because you're getting the inside of their head. You're getting their inner monologue, and then you hear all the stuff that goes around. Now, that's what made Thrawn so good. Even with all of that inner stuff, you were still surprised when he ended up on top, because he knew something that they didn't know. Like, he had some kind of plan that they didn't have. Now, again, this is Dave Filoni, not Timothy Zahn, not the original Legends, stuff. So are they going to just nerf him and make him super predictable like we're seeing everything here? Or are we going to see something in this last episode that we didn't expect, that he did have something planned, and it's going to send us off into some other story that comes up later?
Well,
I really hope for the latter.
My hopes are
Well,
not
here's
high.
We'll see.
Well, here's my question. As of right now, there is one mode of transportation from the planet they're on back to the galaxy that they came from,
Uh-huh.
and it's his ship.
Yep.
It's not his ship. It's the hyperdrive that they made. That
Yeah,
big
it's his
circle
ship.
thing. It's not his ship.
Who's in charge?
It's gonna be him.
Okay.
Who's in charge?
Uh-huh.
So so either A, Ahsoka goes
Sorry.
back with them, or B, Ahsoka is staying there with Sabine,
And it's
or
gonna
C,
it's gonna be a massive cliffhanger where somebody gets left behind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think so?
Oh yeah.
I bet you 200. No, I'm just kidding.
No. No.
No, either that or they completely nerf Thrawn's character and he dies, and then they take a ship and go back to that, and they go back.
Yeah.
So I think
Because in Rebels, aside from being we haven't, aside from being talkative in this season.
Yeah.
What has he done? Can he fight? We don't know.
he's never been a fighter. He's just been a big brain.
Okay,
for
so
him.
if Ahsoka comes with her two lightsabers and corners him, is his big brain going to get him out of that?
Somehow it always happens. I don't understand. It's ridiculous. Like, he's never been a fighter. He's always had like Rook, his bodyguard, or whoever. But that's not happening here. It's very different.
Enoch the Gladiator.
Well, I mean, Rook was in Rebels, but I think he died. So, again, I binged that series with my kids, and they know more about it than I do at this point. But yeah, things are very, very, very different. But I think it's obvious that this is the second to last episode in this season or this series or whatever it is. So obviously our focus is what's going to happen, where are they going, and not so much the little details. But when I was saying that they're leading off to an heir to the empire, the words I specifically said was there's a lot of speculation out there that that's what they're gearing up for. I don't really believe it, just because why would they go that route if none of that stuff's considered canon? Unless they were saying like, okay, let's take a ton of it, except for the little details like who's with who's involved and everything, and kind of go off on that where he's focusing on cloning again. Because they brought up this whole cloning thing with Moff Gideon and then just moved on from it.
Yep.
But we know that clones are a thing because, Goldmember existed, and everything else with the Emperor coming back. So it's like, are they going to keep pushing for the clone thing again? Maybe. I mean, if you look at it forever, ever since Attack of the Clones, clones have been kind of a big deal, brought up again in the original trilogy. Since the Clone Wars, you fought with my father, blah, blah, blah. And then the clones come back. It's all about this whole thing kind of evolves or revolves around the clones. And I think that's what they're trying to push here. So it makes a little bit more sense with the sequel trilogy.
If that were the case, go ahead, finish.
I was going to say, I think they're trying to find a way to, we've talked about retconning. How do you retcon without just saying everything else sucks, follow us? Let's just pay attention to a new story. The only way you can do it is basically apologize for that sequel trilogy and move on to a new branch of storytelling. You could do that, but you could also have a couple of different branches which kind of fills in those gaps, but also tells a different story that won't affect and change anything that happened in the sequel trilogy.
That's not retconning, then. That's just going a different story.
Exactly. Going to a different story, filling in that gap, but going on a different story. So it's not so much retconning as much as just like distracting.
I don't have a whole lot of faith in this. I don't have a whole lot of faith in this theory that you're laying out right now. Because if the whole cloning thing was supposed to be like this big thing that's supposed to be like a part of the Star Wars lore right now, it should have been a central piece of storytelling since the first season of Mandalorian, and it wasn't. We saw it crop up once, and never again. Never before, and not here. I think
let's keep in mind that Rise of Skywalker came out after Mandalorian started.
You just got through saying that cloning has been a thing since the original trilogies.
I'm talking about what came out for us, viewers-wise. The thing is, when Jon Favreau came in, he was trying to make something totally separate that was irrelevant from everything else. But then they made Rise of Skywalker, and he's like, okay. And then it moved on where I feel like he was barely even at the helm by the end. Like, I feel like did he have anything to do with season 3?
No.
Okay.
Well, producing. I think he just produced it.
That's lame. That stinks. And it's very evident as well.
That's what it is.
Season 1 and 2 were pretty good. And he ended with getting rid of Grogu. And then when Boba Fett came out and then they did season 3, here he is back again. And I'm pretty sure that if Favreau had any more control, he would have been like, no, this is stupid. Let's not do this.
My point kind of remains here that the cloning thing should have been like a central thing, like that tied everything that we're seeing in Star Wars together, and it hasn't been. You saw it prop up only once. I don't think you can say, well, this could be a really big thing when you only have one thing to point to.
Attack of the Clones, everything that happened.
We're talking about right now. We're talking about these shows right now because we're talking about this. We're not talking about Attack of the Clones. We're not talking about the original trilogy. We're talking about like right now. If it was a thing that you could point to and say, hey, it should have, then where's it been?
But if they do bring it up here in this last episode, when you find out that those containers are Sparty cylinders or whatever the heck they are, if you find out that they're somehow related to cloning, then there you go. That's your other tie into it.
Fine.
But we don't know. That's why we're speculating. That's why we're trying to guess what's going to happen, trying to figure out what this is. But the reality is, like, it would make sense if they did that because, again, you drop this ridiculous bomb at the Rise of Skywalker that catches everybody off guard. It's like, what? I thought the Emperor was dead. We've known this since 1984 or 1983. And we're very confused here. We don't understand why this even came back up. Couldn't you come up with a better story? No.
And that's me. The next movie is Luke, Han.
Great. He's dead.
They're all going to be back.
No, Han's dead
because they were all clones in the last few movies.
Oh well, there's also more speculation that Luke will be in this next episode.
Why would?
I don't know. I didn't bother reading into that. I don't know.
Why would that even be a theory? Luke doesn't really have much to do with any of this
This is where he's hiding
in this galaxy.
in this galaxy.
Well, no.
I mean, hey, they had that weird map with BB-8 and R2D2, and then it all.
So
connected.
speaking of that, I was at the store today. I was at Walmart, and this guy was in front with this kid, and he was buying him a Lego set for
like $200,
something like that.
Yeah,
$100 and something dollars.
Sure.
But in the Star Wars video games, the Fallen Empire, Fallen Order,
yeah,
and Survivor.
Mm-hmm.
Cal Kestis, who is the character you're playing, he has a droid called BD-1.
Yeah, I saw the BD-1 there at Walmart yesterday.
Super cool droid.
Oh yeah,
he's like, I think he's better than R2D2.
He's like a little chicken walker, like a tiny
two
tiny
legs.
Yeah,
he sits on his shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
He is super cool. Better than this junk, whatever his name is in
you
this.
hate Chopper so much.
So bad.
Chopper.
He got butt hurt in this episode when
a mere droid.
But
yeah,
I know you guys don't like him because you didn't know him. He's just like, if I saw this not knowing Rebels, I'd be like, this is stupid.
If I saw it in Rebels, I'd go, this is stupid.
Yeah.
Droids like that should not be talking through beeps
Not at all.
and making it sound like they're actually talking.
So
Not
Chopper's
at all.
cool because Sabine is an artist, and that's like her big thing. Is she's all into art and little explosives. That's kind of her thing. And every time the thing about these rebels is they were always trying to infiltrate places, so they're always like painting their armor or like stealing like stormtrooper gear and stuff like that, or this trooper gear, that trooper gear. So Chopper had like all these different paint jobs. He was always undercover, and that was kind of the thing about what.
I'm starting to have a nagging suspicion that maybe we should talk about the cartoons instead of these shows, because you seem to have a lot more fun talking about that than what's actually happening on screen right now.
They built that world there. They built that whole environment, and here they're trying to like appease both sides. People who didn't see it and they want to see something live action so they can get into it. And it's also like, bringing up the name Filoni. Let's go check out Filoni stuff. So a lot of people are going back to it. A lot of people have been going back to it. When I knew Ahsoka was coming out, I'm like, I guess we have to watch Rebels now, girls.
That was the first thing I said.
Yeah, right.
I guess what I have to do now? I have to watch 800 episodes of a cartoon.
No. Rebels is not 800. Clone Wars and Bad Batch maybe. Yeah.
No, but back to this kid's buying this. And it's this massive Lego set. It's like $150.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, this is ridiculous. It's Legos.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But when you see it together, it looks super cool.
What's funny about it? You're buying something that you have to put together yourself.
It's like IKEA.
It's like, shouldn't you get a discount when you go through the self-checkout line? No. So hold on, you're gonna pay $150 so you can build your own toy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Got it.
Yes.
And you have to follow their directions to do it because you want to make it look just like the picture.
Yes.
It is the biggest scam
No,
in
it's
the
not.
world. Oh, come on.
Legos are awesome.
I understand they're awesome.
Why is Legos a scam?
It's just, because Legos were originally built or created so you could build something with your imagination. Now, it's a great skill to teach kids how to follow directions. Great. How to understand how to like follow a diagram. Great. So it is educational. But it's funny to me because it's supposed to be a toy, and kids get it because they want to be creative. And parents are like, "Look how creative my son is because he followed a picture." Good. No, that's not how creative your son is. That's how well he can follow directions when it's something he's interested in.
Can you edit this part out? That was just the worst.
That is really bad. That is a really bad dig at Legos. I can understand why you would think that. First of all, you can build anything you want from Legos. You don't necessarily have to look at the directions. If you go out and you decide to buy a Lego set, guess what? You can build whatever you want.
I understand that, but for $150?
Yeah, of course.
Legos, I mean, if you want to just buy the regular blocks they used to have when we were kids, that's one
Sure.
thing. They still sell those for like $15.
I understand.
Yeah.
that.
But if you want to, I mean, there are people out there who have.
There are
like
people out there
cities.
who build careers off of what they can build with Legos.
Wow. They are contributing so much to the world. Good for them.
Hey,
What?
they have movies.
Wow! Oh my god! Really? There are movies.
Listen,
there are video games. It's a massive franchise. What are you on
I-
about right now?
And they actually do if you do the Star Wars Lego Star Wars, it actually follows the movies really well.
I know.
And they're one of the few that they have Lego Marvels. Fantastic.
Lego Batman.
Lego Batman. It's awesome.
I'm just taking a stab or a crack at consumerism right now. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying it's like the worst thing ever, but it's just like the stuff that people make money off of nowadays is ridiculous.
That's called a free market.
I understand.
It's called
just
capitalism.
ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I mean,
I'm a capitalist, so I agree. If somebody can make $1 million off of a toy or off of a bunch of little colored blocks, absolutely go for it. We're three guys sitting around talking into microphones trying to make it big. That's capitalism, baby.
I'm not trying to make it big. I'm just having fun talking about stuff. Okay, whatever. Whatever. Anyway, you guys shut right up. All right. So, is it my turn? Whoopa whoopa.
Wow.
That's what I've got to say. Whoopa whoopa. Let's talk about just a couple of different things here. As far as things that I thought were interesting, again, I watched this episode. I don't feel like we gained anything new. Nothing new came out of it.
Nothing.
It was more just setting up the final episode.
Yep.
You know, here's where everybody's at. Everybody kind of goes their own different ways, and then some people come together, some people leave. You know, with Balin kind of going whatever. What I thought was interesting was she's having this, like, they brought back Anakin, but they didn't bring him back. It was just a hologram of him.
I didn't mind it.
I didn't mind it. I thought it was actually perfect. And
That's fine.
And it did kind of, again, tie things back to this is the relationship we once knew. Where he's training her, and she's like, this is the last, like, he made over 20 of these. This is the last one. So it was very sentimental for her. And she's like, he was a good master.
I kind of want to see the other 19.
Yeah. That would be pretty cool.
Not like in the
out there
show.
somewhere.
Not like in the show, but
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
talking about, like, just like it would be cool if Disney would just
They
like
just
release a
released them.
thing on
Yeah.
YouTube or whatever like that. Like, here's the other 19 holograms that he left for Ahsoka.
Yeah.
Like that, I think that would be kind of cool.
That would be pretty cool. That would be as cool as if we could just watch Superman Lives for a day and then move on.
No,
But
no.
I'm
This is
so happy.
drastically different.
I am so happy that movie
So-
doesn't exist.
what's cool about this is we've seen, you know, we've seen Hayden Christensen portray Anakin Skywalker live action, but he's talking about characters that he was not involved with at all, which I thought was pretty cool. I mean, he just one character in particular. He says he's like, you know, you're gonna have to fight General Grievous, Asajj Ventress, and Count Dooku. Now, you guys haven't heard of Asajj Ventress. She was basically she was Dathomiri, like the Night Sisters here. And she was actually training under Count Dooku. So she was kind of although Dooku was Palpatine's apprentice and he eventually bailed on him, Ventress was actually Dooku's apprentice.
No.
And
Wait, whoa. What is all this? What is all this? What? I'm sorry, what?
Ventress was Dooku's apprentice.
Ah.
Yeah.
I mean, according to the
Dooku
two of
died in
you,
Revenge of the
stop
Sith,
it,
right?
stop, no, stop it. According to the
Not
two
what?
of you, there can only be two.
What
What happened to all
He
that?
keeps saying this.
I know he
keeps
does.
saying it.
Fine.
I know.
I'll blame him then.
I didn't say that.
Yes, you did.
You keep pushing that.
You
The
have been
movie
saying
said
it.
it.
Okay, I know. but
Now the movie said it. You didn't
But why
say
are
it.
there
Now
all
the movie
why are
said
there
it.
all these Jedi and talking about
I
balance,
kept
whatever.
saying
The point
that.
was,
No,
She
the,
was
the
never-
Sith and the dark side can have one master and one apprentice. Two
Mhm.
Sith lords only.
Yeah.
That's what the movie
But
said.
there's still
Uh-huh.
there's more. I'm just saying,
Lord.
Chuck.
Sith lords,
So
yes.
mad.
and an apprentice. They weren't. No one was saying he was a Sith Lord, but
If
he
he's
was,
Dooku's apprentice, that
she-
means she's Dooku's. That means that Sidious is training Dooku and Dooku is training her. That means there's three.
Yeah, I know, and that's why that stuff never made sense.
Why are you so surprised that a movie like this can't keep track of its own continuity? We need to move on from this. No movie can do this. No franchise can do
Well,
this.
the other
They
the
all
other
lie.
Thing too, yeah, and the other thing too, there's a point where there's the other character, Savage, that was being trained by the Emperor, to take over because the Emperor bailed on Dooku.
Oh.
So it's like that's the thing about the Sith is they're all
That's
just moving
rough.
on to the next guy and blowing everybody off, and then by the end it was like Vader, Darth Vader. So I mean, it's just do it. Oh, I showed you that meme, right? Where it was like basically if Dooku just said he's the Sith Lord, and then Anakin stopped for a second and listened to him, like heard him out.
Oh.
It was like based on story by George Lucas.
Yeah, pretty much.
But yeah, so the whole Ventress thing, very interesting character. She was with Dooku. I don't know if she was technically an apprentice per se, but she was training under him. She had a lightsaber and all that stuff. Eventually, he bailed on her. She went off with the Night Sisters for a while because that's like where she came from, and then she bailed on them and ended up helping, the cause. So she was a good person for a bit. And she had a some type of relationship with another Jedi. Oh, I forgot his name. He reminded me of like Wolf from Mortal Kombat or something. Anyway, that guy.
That guy.
Yeah, that dude.
Yeah.
But so there's a lot of stuff that, like, she was a real big character in there. She was like this annoying, like, pain in the butt, thorn in the side for like all of the Clone Wars. So bringing her up was kind of cool to tie that all in. The Purgle, they have a minefield for the Purgle. I like that reveal when they showed up and it's like, what's going on here? And all you see is like blaster fire like coming through the brush.
Yeah.
I
thought the minefield was cool.
It was cool.
I thought the minefield was cool. I like the minefield. I thought that was cool. I thought it was kind of douchey for the whales to just leave them there. See you later.
Well, at least
we
gotta
go.
The whales are giving us cover. And then she got so mad at him, like, thanks for saying something. He's like, I was just trying to be positive.
Oh my god.
You had to say it. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway.
Sure.
You've got that. Balin ditches Shin, and she's a little concerned. And the thing about this is, like, we're still trying to figure him out and what his plan is. Like, he's not with the Sith. He's not with Thrawn. He's not with the Jedi. He's just doing his own thing.
He basically tells her too. The line is, go take your place in your new empire or whatever. Like, he told her
with
go.
The empire.
Yeah, go take your place.
My path lies in another direction.
Sure.
So here's my question though with him. Both him and Sabine.
He and Sabine
thought that in this episode that Ahsoka was dead because he tried to kill her.
Oh yes.
And just because he didn't run her through doesn't mean that he wasn't trying to kill her. There are multiple ways to kill people besides running them through.
Now, if you swatted a bee and you didn't kill the bee, would you be like, oh, good, they must be dead because I swatted them away?
If you thought you killed the bee because you swatted him and they fell on the ground,
really,
and they weren't moving,
exactly,
but really they were stunned, and then you walked away, and then they were unstunned and they flew off. That's how it would be.
But it would be pretty dumb of you to just walk away and not squish the bee. So he did not make sure because his goal was just to get her away. Because he was
if I swatted at a bee or a fly and it fell, I would walk away.
Oh, I never do that.
Dead.
Earlier today, it fell down. It might be stunned. The point is, he didn't take the extra step to run her through because he had his own conflict, his own agenda. His goal was
he couldn't run her through because she was using the Force against his saber. Okay. So he Force pushed her off of a cliff that was hundreds of feet high.
Okay. They all had every reason in the world to think that she fell to her death. Everybody thought she was dead because he thought he killed her. That's why he's like, I'm shocked that you're here. And Sabine was like, that's why when she does the bond and she connects with Sabine through the Force, she's like, there's something weird going on here because Sabine thought she was dead. Right. Now except for us, except for the audience, everybody thought she was dead. To your point, if he actually did have any kind of conflict going on, he would have went over and checked to make sure that she was either dead or alive if he had conflict.
I don't think that's the case.
Okay.
I feel like that's the opposite.
Okay.
I'm not arguing this again. I stand by what I said. And the thing is, he has his own agenda. His goal is not to kill anybody. It's not
His-
to kill her
his-
or kill them. It's just for him to do what he wants to do.
His
Get out of
goal,
my way. I'm doing
his
my thing.
goal
That's it.
is to find whatever ultimate power he thinks is on this planet.
Exactly. That's his goal. Whatever happens on the way is not his plan. It's just get out of my way. I'm doing my thing. That's it.
No, I'm sorry.
I hope
He
it's
seemed to be
something
waiting for
stupid.
her.
I hope it's something stupid like a golden pigeon, like just hanging out in a cave, like, and he's just.
Oh no! There's also speculation that it's that killer rabbit from Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
That'd be fantastic.
He goes in there.
Right as the movie ends, this
Yes.
is the ending of Holy Grail. A movie that they never actually finished.
No,
They never finished that
never
film.
finished it.
They never finished that movie.
So, I again took things I thought were cool, or we'll say cool, interesting, whatever. I liked what
You
when-
can say you liked this episode. It's okay. Just because
eh.
I was 50-50 and Will didn't, you can say I liked this episode.
I'm 50-50 with it because honestly, not much happened. It was just a setup for like what we're gonna get afterwards. But honestly, I have no idea what we're gonna get afterwards. Because why bother introducing these characters if you're not gonna go further with them in one way or the other? There's no
Moff
way. That,
Gideon, Cad Bane,
yeah, but that wasn't Filoni per se.
The
Hutts.
Filoni,
the
the
Huts.
the Hutts.
Those two
They
rando
introduced
Huts.
the Rendo Hutts that became nothing.
Okay.
Cad Bane, which became nothing. Moff Gideon, which became nothing.
They went through the whole trouble with Boba Fett, and that became nothing.
Nothing.
This is Filoni at the helm, as
So-
opposed to him being involved. Like he's at the helm here. He's the other story stuff that he's done is not bad. And
Unless this is the conclusion of Thrawn. This
But
could be
they already concluded Thrawn when
Not-
they got rid of him with the Purgle at the end of Rebels. That was the whole point. Like we're finally done with Thrawn.
except for one thing, though.
they didn't kill him.
They didn't kill him.
I know.
And
It was stupid.
and death and resurrections are now a thing of
Yeah.
witches and Jedi.
Yeah, you know
So
what?
he's back.
At this point, Tony Stark shows up, brings everybody back, and then we just have this like Star Wars Marvel verse that we're all just really mad at. I mean, if you think about it, the stuff we've talked about the most on our podcast is Star Wars and Marvel. And we've been so disappointed with what's been coming out from both Star Wars and Marvel for the past 2.5 years. Honestly, it's at
That's
this
why
point,
we're trying
at
to
this
change
point-
our conversation.
I know. At
Really?
this point, let's put them all together.
Chuck
make
and
it
I have
one
been kind
big
of trying to
thing.
push away from the whole Disney thing for a good year now.
I just said that.
Okay, I'm just saying.
So anyway, yeah, I know. I just said that. I'm like, at this point, let's put it all together. That way, we just hate it all, and it's just one thing. As opposed
I don't-
to just
but
hating everything.
Here's the thing, though, is I don't hate the first 23 movies of Marvel. I love them still.
Well, absolutely. It's
I
what
don't-
they put. I mean, same with Star Wars. We don't hate everything that came out before. Perhaps we were too hard on some of them, but the reality is,
prequel?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you
It's
see
a
the meme?
nose.
Did you see the meme? I forget what it was, and it showed the Star Wars characters and their arch nemesis,
Oh, sand.
and
Yeah,
next
that's-
to Anakin was sand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I was trying to say something. I think like, the hologram. So you've got this Enoch character. You okay?
Just the chills. They're multiplying.
Yeah. You losing control?
I'm losing control.
Oh boy, it's electrifying. So you've got this Enoch character, and he's talking to Thrawn via hologram.
We are never
hologram-
talking about Grease. I'm letting you two know that right now. We are never talking about that movie.
Well, that's as far as we're gonna get, or as close as we're gonna get to
That's
talking
that's
about Grease.
basically it.
Yeah, we're gonna do Grease 2 next.
No.
Let's talk about a bad movie.
Bad movie.
I think we like the
wait.
idea.
That I like. That I like.
Yeah.
Because I hang on. If for nothing else, I just want to spend an hour talking about how that nitwit kept falling off of that bike over and over and over again at the beginning of that movie. Oh my god, it's the funniest thing in the world. We're just trying to learn how to ride the motorcycle. He just keeps falling.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. You watched the musical?
Not by choice. Okay, we're moving on.
So, all right. Fourth
And
time now. Enoch is a hologram and he's talking to Thrawn. Did you notice the effect of the hologram was very like fluid looking, as opposed to just like here's a weird like sketchy hologram?
It's because he's in a different galaxy, different technology.
Different galaxy, different tech. Well, I mean, it should be
It's the
based off the same
same
technology because they were. Yeah, so I something else is going on there.
I don't think it's a hologram. I mean, it is, but it's not.
Yeah, it's not this. You're right. It's not the same technology, but I kind of liked it. It looked
It's
really
like
cool.
what was it? Was it on Pitch Black or Chronicles of Riddick?
Yeah,
Where they had that really weird hologram effect going on to like show people. I thought, yeah, that's kind of what it
That was
reminded me of.
Chronicles of Riddick.
Yeah, this thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. I just thought it was really cool to see it this way. We've seen some things like slightly adapt as the years have gone on because technology got better, but this clearly isn't the same technology.
No.
So I thought it was cool that they were still using some type of holographic technology, but it was definitely different looking. It was just it just spiced things up a little bit for me, and I'm like, okay, I like that. I could go forward seeing this technology. It looked a lot crisper, a lot less cheap.
Well, he's been, stranded for a good long while. I'm
Not-
sure that they've
about
all had
9 years,
time
I
to work
Yeah.
on things. Hey, let's make things look a little bit better.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So the interesting thing was the Night Sisters were actually working for Grand Admiral Thrawn. The dialogue they had here. So like the Night Sisters are always kind of like, especially Thrawn, you would think he'd be like, thank you, great mothers, and like treating them with like the utmost like dignity and respect because they were the powerful ones. No, he's just like, great mothers, I need your help again. Go find Ahsoka. And they're like, yes, Grand Admiral. And I'm like, oh, okay. So even they are under his command, which seems strange. Like, I wouldn't want to mess with them, but he's just like telling them what to do. They're at his beck and call. Why? I don't understand why he's got the pull that he has.
I don't understand anything of this TV show since Anakin came into play.
I
Since
mean-
that happened,
I mean,
everything has gone sideways.
The only explanation I have is, and this is getting a little grim, sacrifices. I mean, they did, do a whole lot of talking about how our numbers have dwindled or whatever.
Right.
They're witches.
Well, I mean, the troopers themselves are actually called night troopers, so they're somehow there because of the Night Sisters. They're not just troopers; they're night troopers.
I'm still saying their numbers have dwindled and there are witches involved.
Okay.
I mean,
Yep.
I kind of feel like in elements like this, that and sacrifices kind of go hand in hand. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
It's the
probably.
only thing that makes sense why he would have the pull that he does with these people.
Yeah, I guess so.
In my mind.
Yeah, could be.
I think they're
Unless he
making him a
promised
bigger
them-
villain.
Unless he promised them like riches. Children. Okay. Purple children.
If you stick with me, you will bear my son.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
No, I think they're from everything up until this. You have talked about Thrawn for a long time now. And this is nothing at all
It's not.
of what.
I know. And that's why I'm hoping he's got more up his sleeve than what we're seeing, because that was the best thing about his character before, was he was always like 10 steps ahead.
Well, he definitely has more under his shirt than he did in the cartoons.
Wow.
Remember that commercial back in the early 90s? It's time to make the donuts.
Yes.
Yeah, I think he ate all of them.
Oh, my.
Sure.
Okay. Anyway. You've got Shin. Let's go.
Why
back
is her
a
name
little bit.
Shin?
I don't know. Why was his name Qui-Gon Jinn? Why are any names what they are in Star Wars?
Oh,
It's space.
Shin is a really weird name.
This is my sister Elbow.
Okay. Anyway,
I'm gonna name who names their kid after a body part like that? Like
Knuckle.
Knuckle. Knuckles.
Middle name Head. I honestly don't know, but you've got this whole thing here. There's also more speculation out there that Ezra is actually not what he seems here. Now, there were tons of times, again, in Rebels, where Ezra, like, remember when Luke saw Rey and he goes, "You went straight to the dark." Like, I can't work with you. You went straight to the dark. Like, there was nothing holding you back. You just went right to it.
Yeah.
Ezra was very, very, very drawn to the dark, and he went right to it, like, because of his nature. The hope here is that after 9 years, he just became more closer to the the light side of the Force, and he's not like that. But there's also a question here: what if he's like behind this great power, that Balin really wants, but
That'd
he
be
doesn't realize
fantastic.
that?
That would
It,
be
it
a
would
nice
be
twist.
really interesting. It would be a very interesting twist. Now you've got this line here, or this part here, where she's trying to give him back his lightsaber. He's like, "No, I gave it to you," and they play it off as comedic, but it's also just like, why? What's the deal? Why won't he touch a lightsaber?
Well,
I
it's
don't
not
understand
that.
what's
It's that
going on.
it really is hers, and she's just trying to give it up because she doesn't want to show how weak she is.
Absolutely, again, for comedic effect. But is there something else behind that? Why is he saying no? Why is he really like? Because he was really pushing back.
Well, here's my question: the force is the force is the force that holds the galaxy together.
It
It's-
binds us.
It's like the old additive that they used to say back in the day of duct tape is like the force. There's a light and a dark side. It's the
Uh-huh.
substance that holds the galaxy. You can hold everything together with it.
Mm-hmm.
Does
I'm
the
a firm
force
believer in
exist
that.
out?
I'm a firm
Does the-
believer in that. Duct tape fixes everything. I
Everything.
No.
guess.
Gorilla tape. Gorilla tape is way beyond duct tape at this point.
Well, whatever.
Gorilla tape is fantastic.
Whatever. But
you get the
if
point.
it's the force that holds that galaxy together, does it exist outside of that galaxy?
It should. I
mean,
can't imagine why
clearly
it
did. We
wouldn't.
just saw them in a different galaxy, and they're still, manipulating the Force. So,
He's force pushing people.
oh yeah, straight up Force.
Right.
Yeah.
Should it happen though because they're in a different galaxy?
Yeah.
Doesn't look different. Looks the same.
Did he say binds the galaxy together or binds the universe together?
Binds the galaxy.
He did say galaxy. Yeah, I don't know then. Not sure. That might be pushing too hard beyond it. I mean, because they're clearly able to still do it.
I would like
That
it
would be a
better.
really
I actually would like it better if he was a little bit more than just like what we're seeing on the surface.
Oh yeah.
Like let him be
Yeah.
angry. Like I
Yeah.
can't, and like he actually said that he's like, it's about time you showed up and I can't wait to go home. I can't wait to go home. And she
Yeah.
hasn't really told him, well, we haven't seen her
Anything.
tell him anything about their predicament right now. So it would be really interesting if it was like, okay, you left me here to die. You didn't come and get me. Now you're finally here and we can't go home.
You know what was really weird about all that? Like, he keeps on saying, it's like, we got to get home. It's kind of the big deal. But then he has that stupid line at the end. He goes, I've got a feeling I might actually go home after all. I'm like,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
what? Like, that does not fit in the show. It does not fit in what's happening here. It's like,
Does anything
it
in the
seemed
last
like you thought that was the case before. And then what? You doubted it for half a second
Nah,
just so you could say this line?
maybe.
It's weird.
But no one has said the infamous line though.
I have a bad feeling about this.
I have
The
a
kid
bad-
did.
Oh, that's right.
He's like, Mom, I've got a feeling.
but he didn't say the infamous line.
Yeah,
though.
and the only prescription is more cowbell. Is what he followed up with. But the reality, like he said, it's It was done. It was said. But I just don't understand what Ezra's doing here. Ezra seems very off. What if he's actually behind more of this than we realize?
That'd be awesome.
That would be really, really cool. That would be so cool.
He kills Thrawn.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Either way, Thrawn's dying next episode.
Well, the whole thing about
He's working
thing
with
about
Thrawn.
Thrawn is so highly focused on getting off that planet. That's his main goal is getting out of there because there's something there that freaks him out.
Right.
Can
But
we
his- well,
wait
he
a
wants
minute?
to get back to reality.
There's something else that, and there's a reason why I said he's working with Thrawn. So these witches were able to locate where Ahsoka was in a bone asteroid field, whatever, thing.
Yeah.
But they couldn't find Ezra on the planet for 9 years.
Right.
Come
That's
on.
what I'm getting at. There's some other stuff happening here.
Yeah.
And they were
And
just.
I
and they were
really,
just.
really, really hope there's gonna be a huge twist. If there's not, it's such a slap in the face again, just like everything we've been getting lately. So
Sure.
that's all I'm really gonna say about it. Like, I feel like something else is gonna come up that actually will shock us, and if not, it's just going to be so dumb. But so far, Filoni has been doing all right, and
We'll
I
see
just
what
really hope that's where
happens.
we go with it. I really hope it's where we go.
We will see what happens.
Yeah. But I mean,
Okay,
any closing thoughts?
I'm done.
Thrawn dies next episode.
Yeah.
Okay, Chuck wants Thrawn to die.
No, I don't want Thrawn to die. I do, but he's going to.
I don't think he's gonna
There's
die,
only-
but I do think it's gonna be.
Or
I do think this is gonna be left on like a massive cliffhanger.
Do you think there's going to be a redemption for Shin? Because she did seem conflicted, and then you've got Ahsoka going like, "Come with me, I can help you," and she stayed there for a second, like petrified, like, "What do I do?" She seemed like a scared little puppy, having no idea where to go because her master just bailed on her, and here's this Jedi, the quote unquote enemy, or not a Jedi, whatever she technically is, who just reached out and said, "Listen, I don't want to hurt you. I could take you out right now because you have no backup, but let me help you." And she stays there for a second and then just runs away, having no idea where she's really going. Do you feel like there's gonna be some type of redemption with her?
I don't care.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
haven't gotten enough about who she is for us to really care.
Nothing.
She meets
Right.
a guy with no shins.
Oh boy, so she completes him?
No.
Is that the,
She
is that
is
the plan?
Shin
Love.
marries Tony.
Love.
Shin marries Tony.
Oh no.
Tony and Shin. Oh, that's
no.
perfect.
Tony.
You can do the whole head, shoulders, knees, and toes.
Shins and toes.
Oh, it's so bad.
Okay.
Who names their kid Shin? So speaking of that, back in my I was probably, I don't know, 9, 10, 11 years old, and my sisters had some friends.
I was 10 once too.
I know. And they were all part of this the group, the Brownies, the brown, like the Girl Scouts, but they were like,
yes, we're well aware.
And there were these twins that were part of their group. I ended up going to high school with them. They moved to the same town years later, but their names were Cinnamon and Thyme, not Time, but Thym.
Yes.
Yeah, they were both spices, and they were not the Spice Girls. And they came over to visit my sisters one day, and my dad, being the dad that he is,
oh jeez, I can imagine how your dad.
the parents drive up, right? They're ready to pick them up. So my sisters are downstairs in their room playing, and my dad yells down, "Cinnamon, time to go!" And I'm like, "Oh God, oh God!" Like, what are you doing? Like, you're just
Was
ripping.
he placing an order?
I'm like, what is wrong with you? The girls didn't get it then.
Oh, of course not.
Of course not. But I just sat there hysterically laughing. I'm like, you're horrible.
I bet you did.
Man.
Wow.
Oh man, she Time writes her own autobiography. It's about time.
It's about time. I went to high school with a girl named Shanda. Her last name was Lear. Lere.
Did you swing from her?
No. No.
Did you want to?
No. Who names their kid Chandelier? Like,
see ya
later.
Well, I guess we're tapped out on this. It's been fun, guys, and everybody there.
Quick episode this time.
Quick episode, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess we'll see what happens next week. I don't know why I'm so hopeful about it. I guess I just want to see Star Wars put something out that's decent at this point, and maybe I'm desperate. I don't know. After reading so much about Grand Admiral Thrawn, I want to see justice done in something I don't have to read. I can just see. Like, I want to see him be what people don't realize he is. So they don't get to that somehow. That's gonna stink. But hey, whatever. That's where we're at.
Okay.
Cool. All right. Well, catch you guys next week. Have a good one.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, Lee from Black and White Reviews here. Just wanted to take a moment to thank you for tuning in, checking out our conversation. If you like this discussion and you want to hear more about this specific subject or other things, check us out on our podcasting sites, whether it's Spotify, Apple Music, or Google Podcasts. We're up on pretty much all of them. So yeah, thanks again for popping by, and be sure to like and subscribe. Thanks.